Kafka became the strongest and most reliable defense officer to win over the heart of Mina Ashiro. They shared a promise which has finally come into fruition. They now fight alongside each other against monsters to save the world. But how did Kafka unlock Riz and win over Mina's heart? Besides the fact that this bug forced itself inside him. I mean, in the start, Mina threatened to kill the dude when she found out he became number 8. But now, he's the last thing she thinks of whilst dying and has been saved in his arms.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Kafka had just found out that the age requirement for the exams had been increased so he could actually try again. Kafka thought it was impossible to ever stand by Mina's side, but thanks to his rescue of this little girl, he believes he can do this and refuses to let her down again. Now, this is all well and good, but outside of his kaiju abilities, he was still far too weak and was mocked the entire time by Kikuro due to it. The entire time, Kafka seeks Mina's approval as he claims she's watching and he can't look pathetic in front of her, but kinda does.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the?
In fact, he doesn't even want to speak to Mina until he becomes an officer. Now, he does achieve the goal of becoming officer. Once he is accepted, he accidentally states out loud that he'll stand by her side as promised. Obviously, everyone is confused, and she reprimanded Kafka for speaking to a superior officer informally. But as she walks away, Soshiro realizes that Mina's smiling, and she never smiles, fam. You guys know this is an anime, bruh. This clearly means she had the feelings. So what does this mean? Well, despite almost 10 years passing by from the first attempt to join together, Mina never stopped hoping Kafka would make it. Even after all his failures, she always believed in him more than anyone, despite her calling him a liar earlier. All Mina wants is for her love to actually stand with her, so she isn't alone in this world. Now fast forward to chapter 31, where Kafka finally reveals his kaiju nature. This shocked Mina, as she had it ingrained in her to destroy all monsters. I mean, she stated as much to Soshiro earlier that all kaiju are enemies. And now, she's seen her childhood friend transform into not just a kaiju, but the strongest in existence. This is why the chapter chooses to focus on Mina above anyone else. And she's the one who's forced to take Kafka into custody despite him saving everyone.
See, now that's some bullshit.
After being arrested, Kafka expects her to disdain him for keeping such a secret, but she states that it was a very Kafka move to do such a thing and swears that she'll vouch for him. Before she continues, Kafka bursts into tears, asking her if he can still strive to stand by her side, which she smiles and accepts. Because at the end of the day, she wants to be with him, but knows she can't yet since they both need to be on the same level. Not just in power, but in ranking. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is an important time to mention that they do interact outside of battles, where Mina is a lot more emotional with Kafka. For example, after failing to stop Kaiju number 9 and preventing General Isao Shinomiya's death, Kafka is very distraught. He is feeling like everything's falling apart, especially with the knowledge that his friends had learned that he was lying about his true nature. But then, in chapter 69, he runs into Mina on the rooftop, and despite trying to leave, guess what she says? Mina asks him to stay. He's in if you're not saying that he's in, bruh. I mean, Kafka is the only one in this world Mina can actually be somewhat open with. It's obviously awkward between the two until Mina tells Kafka to stop with the formalities since they're all alone again, because she wants them to be more than simply co-workers. She talks about how Kafka always dived headfirst into danger for others and always acted like a true captain. From the way she speaks, it's obvious that she still looks up to Kafka because he hasn't changed since then. Despite all of the years that have passed, Mina still understands Kafka better than anyone. Mina is the one to state that she's stronger now and that he doesn't have to do everything alone. Now, in an intimate moment, she brings up their promise to be together regardless of his condition as Kaiju number 8. But Kafka isn't truthful to himself here. After seeing what a monster Kaiju number 9 is, he feels the need to protect Mina like when he was a kid, stating he has to be the one to stop him. The story is conducting character development for Kafka here, as you will soon find out why. As of right now, he still sees Mina as the girl that needed to be protected, and by shutting himself off, he is making a mistake that he made before. He's not trusting his team, aka Mina, and he's unintentionally going back on their promise. After all, Kaiju number 9's defeat will only happen when they learn to fight side by side and their feelings truly become aligned. But deep down, she's scared. Mina's actual abilities are really a metaphor for how disconnected she truly is, always being at a distance. Ever since her and Kafka's promise crumbled, she's been stuck in her childhood state. The only one who can actually introduce her to the world is Kafka. I mean, everyone is starting to look up to him for sure, but they respect him because he's also their friend. Mina isn't. And so, because of Kafka's connections, he's able to actually make his way to Mina to save her. Let's go! To other people, Mina's this untouchable star, always attacking from a distance, and this is done on purpose to show she's really not part of the team like Kafka. But against Kaiju number 9, Mina's confronted head on by just not her physical limitation, but primarily her mental limits. Like, look, the Mina we see here, that's her true self. Mina begins losing hope and starts thinking of Kafka. However, she feels like a failure as a vice captain of the Kafka Corps. This is where we truly understand that Mina loves Kafka. In chapter 103, Mina starts dying and is left all alone in her mind, where number 9 tries to expose the psychology and innermost feelings of his subjects to get them to submit to absorption even faster. Mina's weakness is Kafka, and they appear as children, where we are told he's capable of taking all her pain away and everything will be fine. But in the end, she sees through his tricks. As Mina fades away into death, she claims Kafka made her feel invincible. By his side, she could defeat any kaiju that came her way. She tried her best by herself this entire time, but it was no good, and Kafka has learned the same lesson, that he cannot shoulder all the burden upon himself. Now this is where Mina is reduced to tears, knowing that she couldn't do this all alone. She needed Kafka, just like Kafka needed her, which is when he arrives. Like a beam of hope, Kafka saves her from Kaiju number 9, succeeding this time unlike with the General Isao. Mina's whole speech really is the final stamp of proof as to why they will work so perfectly together.